So hello there. Now recently, Amazon sent me a package which I didn't order. This thing. And I thought, what is this? And yes, I did look at my Amazon orders, and it's not like someone hacked into my account and sent me something. There's my name and phone number on the other side of the package, so I don't know what's going on. Maybe someone can explain that to me, I don't know. Anyway, I opened up the package and I found evidence that I am perhaps the luckiest person alive. Because inside the package are my favourite brush pens. Work that one out. So these are the Tombow Food No Souk brush pens, a 2-pack, and I'd like to show you why I love these things so much, while at the same time being puzzled how on earth I got them. I just don't know how. So what was the sender of that package? Who sent it to me? It says on the package it was sent by Amazon Returns. I don't see how that helps at all. I didn't buy anything from Amazon Returns. Is that something you can buy from? I just don't. Why would Amazon send me a random package of something I really, really want? I just don't understand it. Is it like some kind of crossover from a parallel universe? Did two realities touch somewhere and the package crossed over? Is there another version of myself missing a package that I now have? I'm very confused. In each brush pen package, there is a brush pen. And there also is this thing. Due to my lack of understanding of the Japanese language, I still don't know what this thing is and what purpose it serves. Clearly it's not something I needed because I didn't look at it and then find an immediate use for it, so goodbye. Now the Food No Souks come in 2 different tip hardnesses. One is a soft tip and one is a slightly harder tip. And you can tell the difference between them by their different colours. Actually, you can easily tell what tip hardness these brush pens have because it's actually written on the pen itself, but not on the Japanese packaging. So here we can say it says BS. That stands for brush soft. And on this one here, it says BH, which means brush hard. So the dark green one is the soft one, and the purplish one is the hard one. Now it's time to show you why I love these things so much. And the only way to do that, I think, is just to try and draw with it. Let's draw some lines, shall we? Yes, it does draw a line. There's no denying it. Let's draw a thick line. Ah, yes. I find the line width control with these brush pens incredibly easy because they don't have a fibrous tip. It's actually a very kind of hard, porous, rubbery feeling felt kind of tip. I don't know what kind of material it's made out of, but it's got this very smooth and rubbery feel to it as it glides across the paper. And when I use the word glide, I don't mean it's frictionless. It actually has quite a lot of feedback to it, but it's always a constant level of friction, which also makes it very easy to control. And the different thickness of lines you can get out of it varies a lot. You can make very thin lines with it and also very thick lines. So you have controllability as well as line width variability. What more could you ask for? There aren't many pens in the world that you could replace a whole pack of fine liners with, but this is just about one of them. Anyway, that's the soft nib. How does the hard nib compare? Well, for one thing, it is a slightly smaller nib. Is that the only difference? Just the nib sizes? Because a smaller nib would actually make it feel harder, wouldn't it? Yes. So let's try this one out. Oh yes, that is definitely a harder tip. Wow, you can easily make some very fine lines with the hard tip. Amazing. But making a thicker line, still possible. You can't get as thick as the soft nib. It requires a bit more pressure. I wonder how well does it draw on this Amazon package? It draws very well on Amazon packages too, if that's your art medium. Yeah, so the soft nib one has a lot more give to it and behaves a lot more like a brush pen. The hard tipped one behaves halfway between a brush pen and a marker, but still is just flexible enough to get that line width variance. And of course, because it's harder, it's easier to make thin lines with it. But there's one more feature that these pens have, which I really like, And it's written on the hard-tipped pen here, it's water-based pigment ink, which means that after it's dry on the paper, it has some level of water resistance. You can drop water on it and see. Where's it dissolving to? It's not dissolving at all. Well, hardly at all anyway. If I did that with a dye-based ink, I do this with every video, don't I? Comparing dye-based inks and pigment inks. It's just a recurring theme. And here's a dye-based ink from a similar pen, actually. The Pentel Brush Sign Pen. It's a similar feeling pen, comparable to the Tombow Food No Souk soft model, but it doesn't contain a pigment ink, it contains a dye ink. So if I drop some water on this dye-based ink, let's see what happens. It's been dry, by the way. Yeah, look at that. Basically instant. Dissolves instantly. Blah, blah, blah. Compare that to the pigment ink over here, which has been sitting here for ages and still has not dissolved. There's water all over the thing. And there's the dye-based ink again. Okay, my sketchbook, which isn't even a watercolor sketchbook, is now covered with water. What a genius I am. Just mop that up with a scrap of paper. So there you are. My favourite brush pens. Well, just about. They're very nice. Thank you, mysterious Amazon people. But if you want some, I don't expect you to be so lucky, so I'll put maybe affiliate links down below. I don't know, but maybe. Goodbye, I guess. I should do some actual drawing someday. I should draw more. I didn't get interested in pens to make videos about them, but here I am. Bye. Okay, stop recording. Had enough of that. Terrible. Terrible.